There we're on. And we are red. Welcome. Hello. Happy Wednesday. It's not blinking. Looks like it's good. Okay. If you put the headphones on, they might be able to hear us.
I got you. Says we're live.
Oh.
So,
There it is.
it's one of my favorite scenes of all time. I just saw myself do it. When Nicolas Cage is in,
60 seconds. Oh, let's go. So dumb.
What? That's a great scene.
But you just said, I like when I do that.
No,
I just saw myself.
I just saw myself. Okay, I did say that.
I
Gone
just-
in 60 seconds, right? That's what I'm
I
typing in the
just
post.
saw myself.
Gone in 60. That's the second time I've referenced that.
That's like the third time you've referenced Gone in 60 Seconds.
But the first was Zoom. Because Uncle Rick was
Oh,
walking and I was
that's right.
like, I feel like I'm in Gone in 60 Seconds.
Yeah, that's true.
I've also realized, after watching Sundays, I really got to start like yelling louder. I mumble.
When you read the scripture or when you...
Oh, I don't know. On these.
Oh, on these. You watch this.
Yeah. I typically watch them, but the Sunday one after service is like a little further away.
Yeah, you mumble.
I mumbled a lot in that one.
Bummer. That's unfortunate. Mike is laughing. We have
Mike is laughing.
a special Wednesday night guest. You are a Sunday guest.
Yes.
Producer.
Yes.
A guest.
Yes.
A guest Sunday producer.
A behind the scenes guest, filler in.
Yes, you are filling it. You're a substitute
What did
producer.
you do to your leg?
Oh, that's from climbing the other day.
We were
Yes.
climbing.
Yes.
Let's talk about climbing. Two different
Oh,
things.
that was a
That was a
good
good segue.
one.
You did something that helped us out. So Mike was
Way to get
climbing.
hurt.
No, so Mike was doing this thing, and Lex were doing this thing on Monday, and I couldn't do it. I didn't have the grace that they had. There was this route that started 2 hands off the ground, and there was no place for your feet. So you had to jump up, grab it, and put your foot up, and they were like frolicking gazelles doing it.
Apparently not.
Except for when he hit himself.
Well, yeah, that's after I got tired. So the first couple of times it went off without a hitch. I was able to nail it.
How'd you do that? Like,
Oh, my foot slipped off. I was getting tired and couldn't
okay.
hold my weight up there, and it,
There's other holds. He hit other holds.
yeah. So as I'm trying to move through that route, it just kept knocking my shin. So after 2 or 3 times, I decided to give it a rest.
that was not one accident. That was multiple accidents.
Yes, and that's hitting the same spot
Oh.
2 or 3 times, which hurts.
Yeah. So I'll say
Was
this.
it the same hold?
Yeah,
Every
kind
time?
of at the same area, so I knew it was time to go.
He stopped trying it. He got to the top.
Yeah, I got to the top, and the jump was just a little too much than I could do mentally.
Oh, so there was a jump up top too.
It was awesome.
Yeah,
It was very
Did
cool.
Lex do it?
yeah,
He
you got
did.
it. Yeah, you got it too.
I got it
Yeah.
too.
Oh, I thought you said you couldn't do it.
I couldn't do the jump start. I just went up to it and push myself up.
Oh, okay.
I couldn't do the graceful jump. It was awesome.
Angels help.
No, but I'll say this. Lexi's getting strong as a climber,
Oh yeah.
and we need to start a high school team.
There's climbing teams, like
Well.
competitions, or what?
There are competitions starting, bouldering competitions. It's COVID, so I don't know how they're going to do it, but they start in September for bouldering.
I mean, it's outside, isn't it?
No,
By yourself.
they're inside gyms. These are inside gyms. But speaking of climbing, we have
Yes.
you initiated a sponsor, an unofficial
officials.
official sponsor.
Sorry.
Do you want to?
No, I have no idea what it is.
So a good dear friend of ours, churchgoer at Alamo Heights Baptist Church,
Avid Zoomer.
an avid Zoomer for our men's Zoom
Yes.
meeting,
Yes.
which happened this morning, and so this unofficial official sponsor happened this morning.
Yes.
Because Andrew Andres is you can subscribe to a 12-week climbing program with Andrew at Armadillo Boulders.
He has a beautiful mustache.
He's got you call it a mustache? Handlebar mustache?
The whole thing, yeah.
Yeah.
What do you call it if not a mustache?
I guess it is a mustache.
It's a mustache plus.
Is it? It's a mustache plus.
Yeah. So
I like it. I like it.
if you want to become a climber or a better climber,
Is he doing? Oh, so it's beginners or it's novice or it's advanced? Is it one-on-one? Is it class?
I don't know if it's for beginners. Andrew wants to make people better at climbing, so I'm guessing if you don't climb, you'll be better if you can climb. So I don't know if that's how it works, but you can sign up. It's basically a 12-week.
Is it free with gym membership?
No, it's extra. So
is it the same price without gym membership?
I don't know how that works, but it's an official sponsor.
It's an unofficial official sponsor, so.
But Andrew's a dang good climber, and he's a good coach. He coaches the girls. Him and his wife, Lindsay, both. They're great.
But Lindsay doesn't work there, right? She's a team.
She doesn't, but she helps at the team.
Oh, okay.
So she helps with the girls and the team.
They were climbing someplace cool today.
No, they went paddleboarding at the Llano River.
I wonder if anybody was there.
I don't know.
Because he was like, I hope nobody's there. Which we were all offended because that means he wasn't inviting us.
And I'm assuming they're probably still there because it's light out, so they're probably not watching. But we'll have to call them out. We'll text them here in a bit. But yeah,
as the unofficial official sponsor, he better watch.
He better be watching as the unofficial official sponsor. So check it out. If you want to climb better, go climb San Antonio. And
what's the gym?
Armadillo Boulders. I said that.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, go climb at Armadillo Boulders. It's a good spot. Yeah, welcome. It's Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Glad. Mike, thank you for your help. He's filling in for Caleb. Caleb
is it working?
Yeah, it looks like it's working.
He's over here doing the paper puzzles.
Yeah,
Mike's not even paying attention.
But I can see the video. I checked the audio.
He's doing Sunday's paper puzzles.
Yeah, that's okay. You just need some time. That's Sunday's paper.
Do you get every day, or is
it's
Sunday?
So no, every day.
Oh. Well, I'm saying you get it every day.
Yeah, thanks, buddy.
Oh.
It goes to Buddy's house. So my neighbor passed away.
Mm-hmm.
I think he paid for the year, so I don't think they're going to stop. So I'm still getting his mail.
Oh, okay.
So I'll go and I'll pick up his mail.
He would always give it to you anyway.
Right.
That's cool.
So thank you, buddy.
Thank you, man.
God rest your soul.
Keeps giving.
Yeah. So I get the paper every day. San Antonio Express News. Hey, if you're still watching and if you haven't gotten off yet, we want to
unofficial sponsor.
We want to know who you are, and we want to know who you're watching with, and we want to know where you're watching from. And normally we're also on YouTube, but we're not currently. We're just on Facebook, and so
producer problems.
Definitely
get off the paper.
Yeah. If you know somebody that just share this
job better.
Why don't you?
We have a job opening if anybody's available.
We're a substitute position.
Oh, that's funny.
But why don't you share this also? Tell other people to get on.
Yeah, I'm the only person that ever shares.
You're the one.
Yeah, I'm always the one share.
Thank you.
We should send out a challenge. If you want to be an unofficial official sponsor next week, if you share, we'll make you.
You can
officially unofficial sponsor, whatever you want to put out there.
That's bold. I mean,
well, maybe not whatever,
but
within reason.
Just share. Tell people to come watch with us. But we'll throw this up on YouTube once we get done, and so you can watch on YouTube. But glad you guys are here. Happy Wednesday. I'm glad to be here with Leighton and Mike and Caleb. We miss you. We love you. He's a little under the weather, so praying that he gets well. Anything else? Housekeeping? No? I don't think
Have you decided on Sunday?
No, but you asked me that last Wednesday, and I didn't make a decision until... No, I mean, yes, we'll be online church on Sunday.
Okay.
So,
what do you have a time we're running through?
No,
just kind of still playing by ear.
Yeah, I don't know. This Sunday we'll be online.
Cool.
And then we'll go from there.
Am I supposed to preach? You had me down before the second shutdown.
Yeah, no.
No.
I mean, you can.
Well, it wasn't this Sunday, was it?
No, you're preaching Sunday, by the way. No, maybe the last one. The last one in July.
I just remember.
We'll talk about it.
Okay.
Yes. So we've been in this storyline of Jacob. We started from the very beginning.
Started from the end.
Or start the beginning, we start in the end, I guess is what I meant to say. You're right. And so we start at the end, and in the end we see that Jacob wrestles with God. He's trying to figure out who he is. Mm-hmm. Identity problem. Which, if we're really honest, when we started with Moses on these Wednesday nights, he had an identity problem.
They all did.
Yeah. We do too.
Maybe except for Joseph.
Joseph
pretty much knew who he was. He was a jerk about it too, though. Younger brother syndrome again.
Yeah.
Was Joseph. Like, hey, but guys, let me tell you about the school dream.
I don't think he was arrogant about
Oh,
it.
come on!
We talked
You
about
said
it.
this about Jacob, too. I just think you just weren't the younger brothers.
I
You
guess
don't
I
get it.
wasn't. I don't get it. I'm the older brother.
They were
Older and
arrogant.
wiser.
Are you older, younger brother?
I'm the younger.
Oh,
So, like, if something cool would have happened to you, would you not have gone and told your older siblings, like, this happened to antagonize them?
Oh yeah, definitely.
See? I don't think, you're just the older brother, so you don't get it.
Because you're constantly struggling to get a one up on your older brother. Like,
dang.
yeah,
Wow.
it's just life's hard.
I mean, I'm not saying that it's just little brother syndrome, man.
I guess so. You know what? My brother watched. Him and his wife watched Sunday.
The apology? Oh, yeah. Oh, Sunday.
They
not
watch Sunday.
Wednesday.
I don't know if they watch on Wednesdays, but if you're watching, I mean, I don't. I guess I just don't.
He wasn't like that, or what?
I don't know, David. Were you like that? I mean, it's a question
I'm
for
not
you.
totally
You
like
answer.
that.
We'll have to have my brother call in. If you're watching, call me right
Call
now.
right now, David.
Call me right now. But anyway, that'd be awesome. My phone rang.
That
Nope.
means he's watching.
That means he's watching. But anyway, so Jacob.
How's the new place?
Good. They haven't closed on their new house, but
Oh.
they just moved. So Jacob
wrestles with
we're at
God.
the end of the story. Identity problem. He wrestles with God. God changes his name, calls him Israel. God of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. We see that Jacob's name gets inserted because, just a quick recap, he steals the birthright and he steals the blessing.
Yeah.
Last week we looked at this dynamic of all of them, Rebecca, Isaac,
Crazy family dynamics.
Esau. We looked at crazy family dynamics. We ended last week with Esau marrying, knowingly marrying who his father told him not to marry.
Right.
He goes and he does that. And so that's kind of where we ended last week. I read a little differently this week. I was telling you about this. This is how I read this week, preparing for today.
A wife from there, one of the daughters of Laban, your mother's brother. God Almighty bless you and make you fruitful.
It's cool.
And
That's Felix
Felix.
from my Dwell app. Hannah.
Oh, it's just some random guy named Felix.
Well, I don't know who he is, but his name is Felix, and
Oh, okay.
Hannah bought me the Dwell app, and so I was using the Dwell app, which is pretty cool. It's different.
Yeah, mine you can't change the voice. The Bible,
The speaker,
in the main Bible app. What's the main Bible app called?
Bible,
Just
from U version.
Yeah,
U
the Holy
version.
Bible thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, U version.
Yeah. Anyway,
It's just the voice.
so we're in Genesis 28.
Yeah.
That's where we're at. Genesis 28.
Did it help to have it listening to it?
It was interesting. So you could have like ambient music in the background. I don't like that. Like
Okay.
I'm like distracted.
Okay.
So I took the music off. This guy's voice is the best. It sounds.
Did the accent like keep you more engaged because you were listening more intently?
It was for sure cool. There's a couple other guys that I used and I didn't like
You
him.
like 'em?
This guy was good. But it's ESV. This guy only reads in ESV.
Big controversy with NIV and ESV right now.
Yeah, no, but it was good. It was good. I enjoyed it. But anyway, so Genesis chapter 28 is kind of where we're at, and so Isaac calls Jacob and he blesses him directly, right? So that's kind of where we're at. You must not take a Canaanite woman.
We talked a little bit about this.
Right. This is I'm just kind of recapping. He goes to Laban. He goes to his uncle. Esau goes and marries that Canaanite woman that he wasn't supposed to marry.
Right.
And so now we're in chapter 28. Oh, wrong page. Chapter 28, starting in verse 10. Jacob left Beersheba, set out for Haran. When he reached a certain place, which we're going to find out later where this certain place is called, because it gets its name changed.
Mm-hmm.
So when he reached a certain place, he stopped for the night because the sun had set. And taking one of the stones there, he put it under his head and he lay down to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
You asked a really good question because I have a photo here. This is what he looks like. I don't know if you know
why
that.
a rock for a pillow?
I don't know.
Like, if I'm out camping, any of you guys are out camping,
Yeah.
right?
No, I don't camp.
You never been camping?
No, I have been.
Oh.
But yeah.
But, like, the last thing I'm thinking is I'm going to take a rock.
Oh, that looks like a nice rock.
Yeah, like, anything but a rock.
Some leaves, some dirt.
There has to be something there that I just don't get.
On Christ the solid rock I stand.
Well, maybe it was be like
All
cool,
other pillows are
like-
sinking pillows.
I'm thinking like, it's a dry, airy place. Would it be cool? The coolness of a rock for your head.
I don't know, but I think the rock is going to come up in a little bit, so I think that's why it's a rock.
But who takes a rock for a pillow?
Jacob does.
Jacob does.
He's hard-headed.
Ah! Touche.
Yeah.
Touche.
I'm just going to keep reading. Verse 12. So while he's laying down to sleep with his head on the rock, verse 12 says, he had a dream in which he saw a stairway resting on the earth, which with its top reaching to heaven, and the angels of God were ascending and descending on it. There above it stood the Lord, and he said, I am the Lord, the God of your father Abraham, and the God of Isaac. I will give you and your descendants the land on which you are lying. Your descendants will be like the dust of the earth, and you will spread out to the west and to the east, to the north and to the south. All the peoples of earth will be blessed through you and your offspring. I am with you and will watch over you wherever you go, and I'll bring you back to this land. I will not leave you until I have done what I have promised you.
Yeah. I think this is huge in the sense of a couple reasons. One is that the promise has officially got passed down now.
Whose promise?
Abraham's promise from
Yeah.
Genesis 12.
Right.
Isaac's promise in 26 is now Jacob's promise. This is Jacob officially getting put his name on the list. Right?
God of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob.
Jacob.
Right
Not,
here.
I mean, it doesn't say Jacob, but he gets.
It's going to
It's
later.
going to. Yeah, this is where he's getting it.
Yeah.
Which is interesting that we stay with Jacob and we don't say Israel. In the New Testament, when they quote
Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
Yeah, why don't we say Abraham, Isaac, and Israel? Because he got his name changed.
It's a great question.
I have no idea.
I don't know if I have the answer to that.
Yeah.
I don't have the answer to that.
Yeah, it's weird. Anyway, so this is huge for me in that moment that it's not going to be Esau. Like, I know it might seem like that
But we knew
was
it
already
wasn't.
established.
Yeah.
Right. But what I'm saying is if I'm Jacob, I mean, we don't know, but Scripture hasn't said up to this point that Jacob has heard that he is the one. It's always been Rebekah
Right.
has said so far. That's what we know. Now, had God revealed himself to Jacob earlier, I don't, we can't say yes or no because it's not in there. But at this moment, we know for sure Jacob's gotten pinned.
So
Or Jacob knows for sure.
he re-establishes God. So, I mean, if you back up a little bit, there's a ladder.
Oh.
And the angels are descending and ascending.
Yeah, it's
Why are you laughing?
Well, it's funny, I just skipped over that.
Yeah,
Sorry.
the dream was pretty important.
Yeah, I
So-
skipped right to the promise. I like that.
Right, so then you see God. He sees God.
So what's the meaning of the ladders?
You tell me.
What did your commentary say this week?
I don't know if I spent more time on the promise. But
Yeah, why are you making fun of me?
I'm not making fun of you, but I think we need to at least establish the fact that he sees God and then hears God in this dream.
Yeah.
I think that's important. Even in this crisis that he's in, because he's in crisis still.
Sure.
He's fleeing
Yeah.
because his brother is about to kill him. The moment Dad dies, I'm coming after you.
Yeah.
So he's fleeing. He's being sent away because his parents are in on it.
Correct.
And now, here he is in this crisis moment, and he lays his head to sleep in this certain place, and God reveals himself. Not just reveals himself, but then re-establishes a huge covenant.
So what I've heard and what I read, a little bit of what I read for commentaries on this one was, if you look at how God establishes his promises with Abraham, he does some really symbolic things. Like Abraham, he does cut the animals all in half, walks through with the figure 8, making the covenant, the lamp, and the light stand. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. So he makes the covenant by doing that. A covenant with himself. God makes a covenant with himself saying, I'm going to make this happen. And he kind of says it at the end there again. I will not forsake you until I make this happen. And so it's interesting, just like the couple that I read was, one is it could be a Christophany again, where there is the ladder being that link between God and his people, Jesus, right? The path coming up and down, the idea of it's this relational transaction, I guess, maybe is a way to say it. But knowing that he can't get up there. Like, it's God going both ways. It's God going up the ladder and down the ladder. It's not Jacob going up the ladder.
Tower of Babel.
Right. We can't get up there.
Right.
And so it is God fulfilling both sides of the promise again.
Right. I think the cool
I
thing.
thought that was cool.
Cool thing too, I guess, to point out is the fact that the angels are coming and going, and that there is this. You call it a transaction.
Right.
There is
bad
this.
Word, probably, but.
There is this. There are these back and forths of God sending angels, God sending help, assistance. That's kind of reassuring. I mean, we talk about in the New Testament that the battle is not flesh and blood, but angels, demons, principalities.
So these guys hear these promises, right? And God saying this. Do they have to do anything? I mean, in that moment, can they screw it up? We talked a little bit about this with Moses too. Like, if Moses says, no, I'm not going, are they just stuck in slavery?
Well,
I mean, can Jacob screw up this promise where it won't be fulfilled?
I mean, that's a hard question because then he goes and he ends up wrestling.
Well, he does some
messed up stuff.
Right.
Right.
And he lives up to his name for the next at least 14 years, 15 years after this. God doesn't change his name to that betrayal, wrestler, conniver until after he gets back.
Right.
I don't know. I think one of the hard things about what we as Christians, when I put myself in this situation, I want to believe that I have some kind, and I'm taking this somewhere we totally didn't talk about.
That's fine.
Okay. I want to believe I have a say in my salvation act, in my promises, in my child of God, that I have a say in it. And the more I look at these Old Testament people, the New Testament writings, the more daily devos I do, it is the more and more. If I could sum up this whole Wednesday nights that we've been doing, I would go back to the "it's not about you" thing. It's not about you. And the more I look at these stories, it's just not about us.
No.
And so in this moment, Jacob finally has his official promise from God. He had the blessing, he had the birthright, but he's leaving home with nothing. Nothing. I mean, he's
got stuff.
Some stuff, right? But it's not like he's leaving with his birthright of 300 guys and a whole bunch of flocks that Isaac had. He's not leaving with his birthright. He's leaving with relative nothingness, right? And this is God just, boom. It's not about you. It's about me and the promise that I gave to your fathers, and I'm going to go through with it.
So I sent a text message out today from my Devo.
Yeah. Which is where we're supposed to go.
Right, but I think it falls in the same place. Because are you tired of doing this alone?
Yeah.
Are you completely tired of doing this alone? Because you just said you are trying to do it on your own.
I just feel like my whole life I was raised to believe I had a say in this thing. And the more I read, the less I believe. And I think everybody would say, well, yeah, duh, you can't earn salvation. But deep down in it, I think we all try to earn salvation. I think that's the unfortunate...
But fortunate.
Fortunate. But no, I'm saying it's unfortunate that we think that way.
Oh, okay. Unfortunately.
But it's very fortunate, yes, that we don't have to do that because then we get screwed up all the time. But it's just this inner struggle that is like, my whole life, why have I been good? You know? And Jacob has not been really good. But yet he is still the one that God is going to use. And just to show it that he hasn't been great, God changes his name later just to kind of say, hey man, let's try to redo this. Let's try to get rid of whatever was going on in the past. Let's try to recreate you. And names are a huge deal, as we'll see as to what he names this place. Like, names mattered back then. Names mattered back then, and Jacob's name is just not really a great name. If you're named Jacob out there, I'm not picking on you. It doesn't mean the same thing as what it does today.
But
in our culture.
Well, but names matter still today in the fact as we study this in context.
Correct, but what I'm saying is like my parents weren't like Leighton, the onion garden. That's what we want for him.
Is that what Leighton means?
It's like leek or something, which is an onion.
No.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah. What does Roberto mean?
Awesome.
No, it doesn't.
No, I have no clue, but it doesn't.
What? You don't even know
The
the name?
etymology of the
Whoa!
What did it say?
I don't know.
It said leek is the something.
Leek
What
is
does Mike mean? Warrior? Michael? The
No
Archangel?
idea.
Are you guys serious? You don't know what your names mean?
No.
Can we take 2 seconds and Google your names since we're talking about names?
Siri was trying to. Siri,
was
what
talking
does
about-
Robert mean? Siri, what does.
Michael's got to mean something with Archangel.
Hey Siri, what does Robert mean?
Robert means the name of 3 kings of Scotland.
Well, that's boring.
3 Kings of Scotland.
Michael is Irish origin apparently, but that doesn't make sense because it's in the Hebrew Bible. And it means who is like God. That's a cool one.
That's definitely not me.
I'm definitely not like God. What yours is horrible. It means 3 kings.
I don't know. Well, you look it up. You
I
got it
know.
right there.
It might just mean king. Fame bright, glory of brightness.
Glory of brightness.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I've got an aura about it.
Anyway, I can't believe you guys didn't know what your names meant.
No,
But what I'm saying, I don't know how we got on that. But what I'm saying is, like, in this moment, this becomes his faith. Like, this becomes Jacob's promise. This becomes Jacob's story. And I remember when this happened for me. Do you remember what happened for you?
No, tell us.
Okay, so I was in Bible college. I was 18 years old, flew down here. Somebody had my name on a binder. And I was down here my first semester of school. And I had helped my mom run a daycare when I was like 16 and 17 years old. And my dad always said, I will pay for your first year of college. And I don't remember exactly everything that happened, but through some circumstances or whatever, he paid my first semester, and he's like, hey, I'm going to do my best, but I don't really know if next semester. And I told him, Dad, I don't need your help. I'm not here because of you. I'm here because God wants me here. And I remember on the other side of the line, my dad, like this sigh of relief, and actually in my own moment, realizing that God was what I needed to depend on, not my own earthly father. I remember that moment vividly. And I don't know if Dad cried. He might have. I'm not really
Larry
sure.
cried.
Larry cried, probably. But in that moment, I remember, and he ended up coming through, but I remember that sigh of almost relief on his part, and my own, like, yeah, I don't need people. I have God. And in that moment, that's what I'd say, my faith became my own.
That's intense.
Well, it wasn't, I mean,
I don't need people. I mean,
Wow.
you've stuck to that too.
yeah. Do you have that moment where your faith became your own? I mean, I'm totally putting you on the spot.
Yeah, and I don't know if I had a moment like that where it was
Well, what
a
I'm saying-
realization of my earthly father versus my heavenly father. I mean, that was
Okay,
pretty
that was a little-
intense.
was a little-
That's the way you said it.
Yeah, that made me sound pretty super spiritual. But in the moment, in the moment, I was just trying to
My
tell
name
my
means
dad.
glorious, one, not you.
I'm the onion garden over here. In that moment, what I was trying to tell my dad was I was trying to reassure him, like, hey, God's got this. But when I kind of heard his reaction, I realized I think I debriefed a little bit more, even in my own mind, after saying, like, yeah, he's got this. I ended up getting a scholarship at the school, too, which really helped. But the second semester. Yeah, I don't know. But that was my moment. I mean, that was my Jacob moment. That was when my faith became my own. Up until this, it was the faith of his parents. Like, I think so.
It was a faith of tradition, for sure.
For sure.
I mean,
we don't have Jacob interacting with God before this moment, is what I'm trying to say.
we don't.
This is God. This is a huge moment. This is God passing down the blessing.
It is. And so for me, the biggest thing that God pronounces here is what I was trying to say today. Are you tired of doing this alone?
Sure.
Yes. Maybe that's the moment you're asking. When is the moment that you realize I've been I've been trying to do this through the strength of mom, dad.
Sure.
I've been trying to do this
soup
this way, but now I'm tired of doing this on my own, and God comes in and says, hey, so Isaiah's version of this is what I sent today, Isaiah 43, 1 and 2. But now, and it's interesting, because watch, but now this is what the Lord says. He who created you, Jacob, he who formed you, Israel. I think it's interesting. So
he uses both names.
He created Jacob and formed Israel.
Ooh, that's good.
So I've been trying to get at this whole time when you were talking about you in college. Come on.
Sorry about that.
No, it's good.
Mike
It's really
agreeing
good.
with you.
No, but I think that's important. So what? Let me read the whole thing and then we'll come back to this.
I told you guys.
Do not fear, for I have redeemed you.
Mm-hmm.
I have called you by name. The ESV says summoned you. I didn't say that. I've summoned you by
We don't
name.
use ESV anymore.
You are mine. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you. When you pass through the rivers, they will not sweep over you. When you walk through the fire, you will not be burned. The flames will not set you ablaze. He created Jacob.
Mm-hmm.
And in that creation that is Jacob, he's created you. He's created me. In the creation, he begins to shape and form us. Forming Israel in this instance. And I think that's what's happening here. I mean, that's what you are saying. Ultimately, that's what you're saying. It was no longer just you relying on whatever it was, whether it's a parent or someone else's faith. But now, because of God working on you and in you, there's this realization of, oh my goodness, like...
Well, and I guess maybe just also because my story, I feel like it parallels Jacob's story. I came down with 2 suitcases. Like, I think there's those moments, and if you haven't had it, I'm not dogging on you, but...
I think many of us have many of those moments. I think you can have many of those moments. And not a salvation moment, but a realization. Realization of, oh my goodness.
It's a special moment. I mean, so much so that Jacob wakes up and says, surely the Lord is in this place, and I was not aware of it.
Yeah.
Like, Jacob was
his whole life, God has been there.
Yeah.
But in this moment specifically.
Right. And I guess maybe that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't... So, you brought up, hey, he's in this moment. I don't even think he was looking for this. Which is weird, because he was the promised birthright blessing guy now.
But he's running away. So he's
running away.
He's in this crisis. That's why I keep calling it a crisis. He's in a crisis.
But it's not like he turned towards God and was like, help me, Father.
He went to sleep on a rock.
Yeah.
Maybe we need more sleep.
Well, that's probably true. But I guess what I'm saying is, like, you see all these incredible... I've been dogging on... We were talking about this. I've been dogging on Isaac a lot, right? Yeah. But when you look at Jacob's story, it's not like... Abraham was incredible. So you look at Abraham's story, and he is conversating with God and seeking his face. And
I was remembering the really bad joke you told about Isaac when God's like, oh, wait, Isaac.
Oh, yeah, don't kill him.
Such a dumb joke.
It's a great joke. The pillow on the floor.
Sorry, I forgot I even brought it up.
See, it was good. You remembered it. I forgot it. It was so bad. But, even Isaac has these conversations trying to find his place in the land. And Jacob doesn't even look for him. Even at the story we started with, it wasn't like he was like, hey, I want to wrestle with God tonight.
No, it just shows up.
God just shows up in his life and is like, hey, man, you want to fight?
Yeah.
Like, there's this...
And even then, in that, he's, give me a blessing! Right. I've stolen everybody's blessing, I want yours too.
Stealing his blessing again. Right, I mean, he just has an interesting life. His life is not easy. It might not be Joseph hard with the certain rejections and stuff, but it hasn't been an easy come relationship, like, just handed over to him.
No, I mean, he's fought for all of it.
Yeah, literally. I mean, he's deceived and connived and made it his own the whole way. And I think this moment is where God is like, hey, it's not you, it's me. And rely on me in these moments.
So I hope people are still listening. If there's one thing I want you to hear, we want you to hear, is I am with you.
Yeah.
You're not alone in this. So if that takes you, how old are you? 18? Mm-hmm. 18 years. If it takes you 40 years, if it takes you 70 years, I am with you is what God... That's the narrative of the Bible.
The whole Bible.
I am here
Right.
with you.
Right. And I want to have a relationship with
Right.
you.
And I want to do this with you. I want you to do this with me. Like, I want you here.
But I don't need you in anything. I'm going to make the promise.
He's a little more sensitive in how he says it, but...
Right. It's not I don't need you in the sense of, like, no one like Jesus.
I was laughing because I saw this right now. I don't know where we found this, but the grammar in this, no one liked Jesus.
No one like him.
So I know there's no one like him, but does anybody like him?
Nobody likes him.
Anyway, that's a bad time.
Nobody
to
likes
but
Jesus.
I'm gonna throw it away.
But, that's awesome. I love that. It's been up here for a couple weeks now. But yeah, what I'm saying is not that he doesn't need you in the sense of, like, get away from him. What I'm saying is, like, his grace, his mercy, his love, his sacrifice on the cross was not dependent on you in any shape, way, or form.
No, and even in Sermon on the Mount, Matthew 5:17, let your light shine before men,
Right.
so that they may see your good deeds, that glorifies your Father in heaven.
Right, I'm not saying go and sin so grace may abound. I'm not saying that.
No. I know you're not, but that's why
What
I
I'm
say
trying
it.
to say is we want to climb that ladder.
Right.
I want to be on that ladder. I want to be the blessing. I want to be the promise. I want to grab it and get it and steal and lie and cheat to get that promise. Like,
Yeah.
that is who I am in my nature, and I am Jacob, right? And in that moment, what I'm saying is, like, this is a massive realization. I believe Jacob wakes up and is like, I missed it.
No.
This is God's house.
Yeah.
This is Bethel, and I missed it.
So, verse 16, let's read that. So he says, this is verse 16 of Genesis 28. When Jacob woke up from his sleep, he thought, surely the Lord is in this place, and I was not aware of it. Man, you wake up tomorrow, and maybe that's something we should say, or acknowledge.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize this. Then he says, I lost my place. Oh, verse 17. He was afraid. So now he's scared. He's in crisis because he's running from his brother. I mean, that's just pretty scary. And now he's afraid because he's realizing that God's been there the whole time.
Right. And he kind of came face to face with them. I mean, he
Right.
has this.
So
moment.
he was afraid. And then he says this, how awesome is this place?
Mm-hmm.
And it reminds me this morning of our sponsor, official sponsor, non-sponsor. Andrew brought up when I asked, what do you want to do? What do you want to do was the question I asked this morning to all the men. And Andrew's answer was the Psalm passage where David says, I want to dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life. How awesome is this place? Right. This is none other than the house of God. This is the gate of heaven, referring back to the ladder. Mm-hmm. Verse 18, early the next morning, so he goes back to sleep, obviously.
Right, yeah, I mean, he wakes up from the dreams like, whoa.
Yeah, and then he goes back to sleep. And then early the next morning, Jacob took the stone that he had placed under his head. This is why I think the stone is there. I think it was strategery. Strategery. Early the next morning, Jacob took the stone he placed under his head, and he set it up as a pillar, and he poured oil on top of it. He called that place Bethel, which means what?
House of God.
Household of the Lord, house of God. And the place used to be called Luz, or Luce. So let's spend a bit on that. We sing a song, Here I Raise My Ebenezer. Right, so that's what this is, right? It's an Ebenezer stone.
Yeah.
It's a stone marking a significant event, a significant time, a significant place where God showed up in such a way that you woke up saying, how awesome is this place? Imagine if we still did this today, like there would be rocks everywhere. Like your house should be full of rocks because of the amount of times that God shows up, that you would have this stone as a pillar.
I was trying to get a cool definition of Luz.
Well, I have it too.
Nobody's really got a cool one.
No, well, I mean,
it's debated among scholars.
So Bethel and Luz, they're distinguished in Joshua 12. They're identified somewhere else.
Genesis 28.
Yeah.
No, that's here.
It doesn't really give much. What it does give significance to is that there's a pillar set up specifically for this moment, and then the anointing of the oil on this stone signifies that it's a holy place. So if it goes back to Moses, holy ground, holy spot where God showed up. How awesome is this place is what Jacob is trying to tell himself and everybody, that I mean, I'm sure it was still there, and people noticed it as a
Sure.
significant spot. So what happens next? Jacob. Oh, this is where I was talking to you about earlier. This is verse 20.
Go.
Jacob made a vow, saying, "If God will be with me and watch over me on this journey, I am taking and will get this journey. I am taking. I'm sorry, I got ahead of myself. If God will be with me and will watch over me on this journey I am taking, and will give me food to eat and clothes to wear, so that I return safely to my father's household, then the Lord will be my God. And this stone that I have set up as a pillar will be God's house. And of all that you give me, I will give you a tenth." Go.
I just don't think he thought he was going to be gone long.
You don't think so?
No.
Jacob didn't
Jacob
think he'd be
didn't.
gone.
This whole thing of then the Lord will be my God. I don't know. I think he just kind of felt like this was like the trip that his grandpa sent. Not Ebenezer. Eliezer was the servant that Abraham sent to get Rebecca. They come back in like a month, and he's got his wife. Like, I just kind of think that that's what Jacob was thinking. Like, I'm gonna go, come back, and if you bring me back in a month with food and clothes to wear and a wife, then we're good. I'll serve you.
So I think it's significant too, because Jesus talks about some of these items, and I don't know if I'm reading into this, but when I was reading this week, I thought about the idea that Jesus brings up the idea of food and clothes.
Sure.
Birds.
Is that where you're going with the
birds? Yeah. Do not worry about your life, what you'll eat or drink, but here's the things that I'm going to provide for you. Don't worry about those things. Jacob was worried about those things because he says, "Hey, God, this is an awesome place. If you do these things," so God just makes this awesome covenant, and Jacob responds by saying, "Hey, so if you do these things, then I am going to acknowledge that you're my God." I don't know, maybe this is the younger sibling syndrome that he's dealing with still here in his arrogance. I don't know. But he says, so then I'm going to do this. Then you're going to be my God. And out of what you provide for me, he brings up this tenth. He brings up the tithe, as you called it earlier.
Right. Well, and also with the food and clothes, with his birthright, he never would have had to worry about those things.
He's concerned with it here.
But I'm saying, like, he literally, like, if he would have been able to stay and claim his birthright, he never would have had to worry about these things. Because his dad was loving
any of these things.
Yeah. So, it's just an interesting fact that this is something he's concerned about.
Yeah.
Because he has deceived and he's not sure if this is things that he'll have forever. Like, in the current state of the situation and circumstances that he finds himself, those are not guaranteed. Food and clothing. And then, he definitely brings up a form of tithing here. I will give you a tenth. And
you said a form of tithing, because earlier you said this is the tithe, and now you're watching this.
I changed my words.
Now that people are watching, you changed it. I tried to set you up right there.
All I was saying is that I'm not saying like this is the institution of the tithe, which is what I got attacked for earlier. I'm just saying that he clearly says, as a token of appreciation for you being my God and bring me back with clothes and food, I will give you a tenth.
I think it's more of a token of appreciation. He's saying, I'm going to give back to you.
Well, and in spoiler alert, in 35 when he gets back here, he builds an altar on this place, and he does sacrifices.
He does what he says.
I don't know if he gives a tenth in that moment, but he's giving the sacrifices of thanksgiving, of provision, of gratefulness, of whatever.
You know what's interesting? I just thought of when you just said that.
Uh-oh.
So right here in chapter 28, he's there. He's got nothing. He's got a stone.
Sure. And oil.
He found oil somewhere. Oil from his pocket. He's got oil. In 35 that you just brought up,
loaded.
Right, but it's not with him. He sends it across the river, and it's just him when he wrestles.
That's true.
He's got nothing in that moment.
Again.
And here he is in this moment, and it's an awesome moment because a reminder, I'm going to provide for you, is
Right.
what God is saying.
And
I am it. Are you tired of doing this alone? It's me.
yeah,
It's not you, your stuff.
and God has done it.
It's not your blessing. It's not your birthright. It's not this deceitful life that you've been living. It's me.
Right.
I'm here with you in this moment.
And that's what the wrestling was about. And that's why the name change is because it is God saying, you are my people now. Like, I am the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Do you ever wonder why it doesn't continue?
Who would be next?
Joseph? I don't know.
Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and Joseph.
Well, I mean, I guess eventually it had to stop somewhere.
Right.
I guess the 12 tribes after that, I guess. But I was wondering why it didn't keep going.
Yeah, I don't know. Sounds better for the movies they made. I don't know.
He was thinking of Hollywood.
I mean, I don't know. You just gotta stop there.
Yeah, and so I think this is. I think this whole idea of the tithe is established here. One of the times it's established, we see Abraham does it. We see Isaac does it. This idea of sacrifice. I mean, shoot, I was just reading this morning with the curse that David gets for doing the census. He's like, no, a sacrifice has got to cost you something. So he buys everything from that guy, you know. And I think that goes back to this idea of it's all God's anyway, right? We didn't have a say in the gatherings. Who's going to do it? I will not leave you until I have done what I have promised to you. Verse 15 of 28.
Makes it very clear.
Makes
God
it
makes
very
it very
clear.
clear.
And I think that's so important because Jacob's wealth does not come from Abraham and from Isaac.
Yeah.
It is God giving it to him through a completely different means of wealth than what would typically be thought of. I mean, he leaves here with, we're going to say, a bottle of oil and some stuff, and he's coming back super rich. Just the gift that he gives to Esau, so Esau doesn't, the morning after the wrestle, he is wealthy.
Yeah.
Very wealthy. With kids, with
Northeast,
wives.
southwest.
He is, and so God fulfills His promise to Jacob, in that it was all God, and it's not about us, and it's not about what we can do. And for me, it's just For me, it's encouraging when I hear the promise that is here for Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That promise is just that He's going to do it. That we're not in this alone. He desires the relationship with us. He's the one doing the ladder, the coming down, the going up. It's all on Him, and it's on His word. And He wins in the end. Revelation, the battle's fought and He wins. And so I think this is a huge moment for me when I read these. Jacob's faith becomes his own, and it's not on him to make it happen.
It's good.
He doesn't have to fight for that blessing and birthright anymore because God's going to give it to him.
I'm glad we got here because I don't want to go any further than where we're ending. I think this is good right here. Because
Fine.
Because we'll reiterate what you just said.
I don't know. What did I say, Mike? Are you doing you put it down.
No, he's getting what God is intending him to get in this promise, in this reiteration.
But it's not him.
Right.
The whole time he's been trying to do this, the whole last couple weeks we've been looking at it, it's been all Jacob trying to do it on his own with his mom's help and stuff. And in this moment, it's like, bro, I've got this.
Yeah.
This is who I am to you. The same blessing that I gave to your grandfather and father, I'm going to give to you. This land will be your land. Your descendants will be like the dust of the earth. North, south, east, west. You just brought that up. All the peoples will be blessed through you and your offspring.
Yeah. That's us.
Through Jesus. That's us.
All the people. So, and this is why I wanted to end at this spot, because I think we're trying to do this on our own. We're in crisis. We're trying to figure this out.
Sure.
I saw this on my bike ride today, and I think we're worn. Especially if we're trying to do it solely on our own, we're worn. And so this same message for us And that's why I wanted to bring this up, this idea of He who created you and He who formed you. We have all been created by the hand of God. He wasn't done in the creation of us.
Sure.
He is still forming us. And until the moment we breathe our last breath, He is at work forming us.
And He will not leave you until I have done what I have promised.
Yeah, that's good.
It's really good.
It's time to pick up a rock and go to bed.
I tell the story about putting rock in your pocket. I kind of missed it this morning, but because I was driving.
So this morning, we were talking about rocks this morning. I forget how we're talking about wind in Oklahoma.
Okay.
Because Leon and Casey are now in Oklahoma.
Okay.
And I said, hey, you can do what my mom told me to do. When I was a kid, I was a small little skinny kid. And my mom said, hey, Bobby, put rocks in your pockets so that you don't blow away in the wind. And I took it literal. And I put a rock in my pocket because I was scared that I was going to really blow away.
This wasn't a one-time event, though, from what I heard.
I did it for like years. I had a rock. I'd get to school and I'd put a rock in my pocket because that's what my mom said.
It's so awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
I love the literalness of kids.
Yeah.
But
Thanks, Mom.
Thanks, Mom. Yeah, he didn't blow away.
No, I'm still here.
Still here. So it worked.
I don't have a rock in my pocket now.
But it worked.
It worked.
Yeah, good job.
I want to wake up tomorrow and say, how awesome is this place? Because God has reassured me that He's here. That's what I'm getting at.
Well, and what's really cool about that, too, is that the house of God is where we make it now. Meaning, when He died, the curtain was ripped. The pathway to the ladder of heaven is now open through the blood of Jesus for us to wake up and say, the challenge that you had this morning.
Yeah.
For us, which was, who is God and what does He have for you today? What is His purpose for you today? And in that moment, I think that is ultimately Jacob's thing here is like, this is a holy place. And every time we take that opportunity to walk into those moments and to just have that conversation with the Father, if you do it in the morning, awesome. If you do it before you lay your head on the rock, awesome. But to have that moment of understanding that we are the temple of God. This is Bethel, right? The house of God. And we have a relationship with no one like Jesus.
Ooh.
Tied it all the way back in there.
That's good. Mike liked that one.
But I think that is Jacob's big thing for me is that idea that it is our faith now.
Yeah.
Because of Him. And it's not our faith because of our parents.
No.
It's not our faith because of what we've done, what we've deceived, what we've scrapped and gathered. It's because of who He is and what He's done. And I think that was, as I read this morning again, that is my moments of realization within it. Was Jacob his whole life so far had been struggling to grab Esau's heel, struggling to get the birthright, struggling to get the blessing. And God just says, man, dude, I've got this.
Yeah.
In a moment that he wasn't even looking for it.
Mm-hmm.
And He shows up. And I'll end with this for my statements, is that oftentimes we can look back and say, I didn't even see Him, but man, was He working the whole time through these circumstances. And I might not catch it in the moment. I might lay my head on the rock and not realize what's going on. But when I wake up and look back, I think, whoa, He has orchestrated things that I never would have dreamed of. And how incredible is that? I think that's when he gets back to this moment in 35, to this place in 35, that's got to be going through his brain.
Yeah.
15 to 20 years later, whoa, I never would have thought I'd come back to this place in this moment.
Yeah, no, I think it's good. I mean, I have nothing other than I just keep playing the commentary in my mind. How awesome is this place?
Yeah.
I yearn for that moment. I yearn for Hannah to have that moment, for Ella and Olive to have that moment. That is a realization that we all, and not just those are just my immediate family members, but that we would all have that. How awesome is this place? Cool. How awesome was this time?
Because there's no one like Jesus.
Yeah. Thank you for hanging out with us today. Oh, I usually end with some music.
You gonna pray?
Oh,
We do need to get a better job of praying.
you're
We
right.
do a great job of praying.
I always forget to pray.
Wow.
Let me pray.
Pray.
All right, God, thank you for my friends. Thank you that we have this opportunity to be journeying through your word. God, I pray that you would just reveal yourself in such a real way that we are awakened to just say how great and awesome is this place. And that the house of God is a real spot that you allow us to experience and to be and to see you at work in all of our lives, God. And so protect us, watch over us, keep us healthy, and thank you for this time. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
You're
Thank you to our sponsor. I said thank you to our sponsor, Andrew
and rest.
Andre the Giant. Yeah. I think you have to push stop.
You have to push that. He likes it.
He's just gonna roll with it. Wait for the red light.